Hello everybody, welcome to Miranda Detailing Live. Sorry it is taking so long. I have had a lot of problems with our computer setup. Don't know why. I'm in my little office. Every time I bring the computer in here, it gives me a problem. So I apologize. I was supposed to go live last night, but it didn't happen. So just doing some quality checks, making sure the audio and the video is coming in correctly. And we'll wait just a few minutes and kind of do some introductions as we wait for some people to show up on the live chat. So I know it is a little bit later in the evening. So let me know if everything looks and sounds good. So yeah, welcome. So today we're going to talk about a few things, primarily paint corrections, ceramic coatings, and then some of our new apparel that we're selling on our website and Facebook and Instagram and things like that. So it's kind of a new little venture that I'm doing on the side, and it's really focused. It's designed for detailers, so it's going to be detail-oriented logos and things like that. So we'll talk about that in there as well as any questions and answers, or questions, and I'll try to answer as we talk about it. So, oh, awesome! Hey, Cal's Auto Detailing. Nice to see you. Okay, awesome. Oh, good. Loud and clear? All right, good. Yeah, it took me a while to make sure that the audio is working correctly and the video and all that. So I'm using a new iPhone for the video, so making sure. So I got some really cool stuff coming in. Not only do I have apparel, t-shirts and hoodies and hats and all that stuff, but I got mugs. I think that's about it for, like home stuff. But these really nice, high quality, glossy mugs with the new logo, and then our logo on the other side, which is really nice. So just getting these in to kind of do quality control and see how they are, as well as enjoy my chai latte. Satisfying. So, all right, cool. Yeah, so we're going to talk about paint corrections and ceramic coatings. That's a big thing that a lot of high-end detailers get into. Mobile guys will start to transition into that. Sometimes they do. Not all the time. Depends on the area and the demographic, and if they have the facility to do it. So, when we first started up, we were just strictly doing mobile detailing. We go to them. The past 6 years, we have been in a house that we rent that has a garage, which is really nice. So it's pretty much, heated and cooled somewhat, because I have an air conditioner in there. But the summers here are still really hot and humid, so that's still kind of difficult to deal with. But excuse me, as far as the winter goes, it's nice and warm in there, so that's not a problem. I can put all my lights in there, all my equipment. And it's really nice to work in a garage. So since we've been here, I've been offering full paint corrections and ceramic coatings. Now, when I say paint corrections or paint correction, that can be kind of subjective to some people. The higher end detailers and their really nice facilities, they can put out some amazing work because they have the lifts. They have the facility for it, to be able to do that, and they have the clientele as well. And I know that takes some time to be able to build up. But our paint corrections, basically, I try to go as far as I can in correcting the paint, but doing so safely to make sure that you preserve as much clear coat as possible. I don't try to chase perfection to the point where you don't know if you could compromise the clear coat or not. Because I do have a paint depth gauge, but it only measures metal panels. So magnetic and non-magnetic metal panels. It doesn't do fiberglass or plastic or anything like that. So when you're working on bumpers, I have to be careful. If I'm working on any fiberglass parts of a vehicle, I have to be careful. I only go as far as I need to make sure that the paint looks amazing and the customer is happy. So I'm not going to chase every tiny little scratch, if it's not going to disappear completely, as long as the entire panel looks uniformly clear, then that's what I shoot for. So in some of the videos and some of the jobs that I do, there might be a stray little, scratch here and there. You're not going to see the majority of any swirls, but deeper stuff is not going to be completely gone. So let me know, how far do you guys go with paint corrections? Do you try to get every square inch perfect, where you might even leave the clear coat a little thin, because sometimes you have to go aggressive to get some of those scratches out? Or do you go to the point where you know it's not going to be seen? With these high-powered LED lights, they bring out more than the sun does. They really do, because you're looking at it from all these different angles, where the sun is at one stationary point in the sky, and you don't always see all of those little defects, especially in some of the the smaller areas on the vehicle. Not to say that I don't hit those areas, but I'm not going to go so aggressive where you might compromise some of those areas. So, yeah, when I say paint correction, I'll go multi-stage, 2 to 3 steps, using the heavier compounds. I use D300 a lot. That's just my go-to compound. It's cheap, it's effective, it works really well. The microfiber cutting pads, they work really well. And, after a couple of hits of that, if it's not going away, I stop. And then I'll polish and refine and go from there. But I'm not going to go too deep to try to chase every little thing out, because, yeah, you can compromise the clear coat if you do that. So I'm just going to look at the chat here and see who's coming in. So Ralda's Detail, how's it go? How's it going, Tony? No, you're not late. I started late. I was having problems with my computer. So Fox Valley Auto Spa, how's it going? Clean Works, how's it going? Boston, Mass. Oh, yeah. Thanks for joining, guys. Yeah, so we were just talking a little bit about paint correction. And really, I would say the most popular services with most, even high-end detail shops, is going to be, I guess, what some call a minor paint correction, where you're going 2 stages, but you try to cut as much as possible with the cutting stage, and then you refine. And again, it's not going to get every single thing out, but, only your eye is going to see that as a detailer. You're looking at every panel with lights and scrutinizing everything. The customer will most likely never see any of those things, because they're not sitting in a lighted garage with all those high-powered lights to be able to scrutinize every tiny little area, which they really don't need to do that. The vehicle is going to look amazing anyway. So 2-stage is good. Single-stage corrections, I do a lot of those. 1-steps, I call them. I'll either use HD speed with a cutting pad, or sometimes I'll use something a little bit more aggressive depending on the hardness of the clear coat. Maybe D300 on a softer or medium cutting pad, and that usually will cut it and leave it pretty much refined to the point where you don't need to do a second step. And sometimes if you do, whatever wax you're using or sealant usually has some polishing attributes to it and clears up the paint. So, I started using the Meguiar's DA correction kit when it first came out. I bought the kit, the 5-inch kit with the 16-ounce bottle of correction compound and the finishing wax, that blueberry smelling stuff, which I love. And that's what I started using. That got amazing results. One of the first cars I did was a Maserati, which it was like a dark metallic blue Maserati, which I do have some pictures I'll probably post on Instagram, because it's kind of going back like 7 years or so. But that's what I used on that vehicle. And I was just using my Porter cable, and it came out great. So, I've upgraded to the Roops polisher, and I pretty much still use the same techniques when compounding and using those products. And I still use the finishing wax. I actually just used it the other day. I wasn't coating this vehicle, so it was just going to be a sealant at the end. But I use that finishing wax as my polish because it's so easy to use. It wipes off easily. It's great for finicky paint. I've used it on Subarus that have that sticky finicky paint and had to use it as a finishing polish. Worked great. then I used a sealant like Fast Finish, Meguiar's Fast Finish at the end. So I'm using all Meguiar's products, so they're all going to work well together. And so those products still work amazingly well. And they're cheap. D300 is cheap, and the finishing wax is cheap. And they're not crap products. They are good products. They produce amazing results. So sometimes, people get caught up in the hype with trying every new product. If it works, I'm going to stick with it until I may branch out and reach out and try something new, but I'm going to stick with what works. And it's affordable. It's a very underrated product, both D300 and the D301, which is the finishing wax. So I use the finishing wax right now as my normal full detail wax because it's so easy to use, and it's such a pleasure to use as well. So I just bought a gallon jug of that because I go through so much of it. So, definitely check out those products unless you already use them, or if you've never used them, give them a try. They're really good quality products. I love them and I use them all the time, and they produce really, really good results. And same with HD Speed. I use that a lot for my single stage or my one-step polishing, and it cuts out a lot of defects depending on the hardness of the paint and the defects. It does a great job. It can cut 50% or maybe a little more, and it just works well with almost every single paint that I've used it on. So I love that stuff. It is really, really good. So taking a look at the comments again. How's it going, everybody? I think I already talked to Fox Valley, the only space invader. What is the dilution ratio for OptiSeal? Not sure. I don't use OptiSeal. I don't think I've ever used it, actually. So I'm not really sure. But yeah, thanks Fox Valley for answering that. Only one spray per panel. I guess it can be used as a drying aid. It can be sprayed on wet panels, I guess. I've never used it, but that's what they say. So, hey, Abraham Plata, you like the classic logo? Which one? The one behind me on the screen? I have a couple of different new logos that I'm going to be using. Hey, Mark Rowe. So he says, yeah, D300. Yep, D300 is awesome. Yeah, I've had a few products that I purchased that I didn't like. One of them being, what was it, 3D Uno. I bought a gallon of that, and I threw it away like after a couple of years. I just never used it, and I didn't think it was that great of a product. I don't know. They've since reformulated. Now they have 3D One, which is what Uno should have been, I guess. So yeah, there's a few products that I've actually thrown away because I just don't use, and they just take up space. So, and there's some other little compounds and polishes that I've tried, had samples of, whatever, and I just chuck them because they're just not any good. I always go back to D300. Yeah, I love that logo, Abraham. Yeah, that was one of the ones it's an animated one that I use. Basically the new stuff that I have going on, these are not going to replace like my detailing logo. This is just apparel. I can probably put that logo, on this if people want to buy t-shirts with that logo on, on your t-shirts or on your hoodies and stuff like that, or maybe even on the back. That's an option too. So I can customize these as well. So I'll talk about that in a minute, about some of the apparel and how I can customize it. And I'm kind of thinking about an idea of if other detailing companies want their own type of apparel, because basically I'm doing a drop ship type of business with this. And I can make custom stuff really easily, and I can have it shipped right to you, which is really nice. Very, very easy. I don't have to have any inventory in stock. They make all that stuff, print on demand, and easy to work with. So I'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. Hey, Mike's Meticulous Detailing. What's the opinion on ceramic coatings? Yeah, so that's what I was going to talk about right now. So I have been using, for the past 5 years or 6 years since we've been in this new place, I started with, I believe it was OptiCoat 2.0. It was the first coating that I used, and it was okay. I didn't like the application of it. It was weird. It flashed off so quickly that I couldn't tell where it was on the panel. So I coated one car with it. Or actually, I think I did two, and I just kind of stopped using it. I wasn't really impressed with it. So I know they've reformulated that too. So from there, I started using G-Technic products. So I started using just G-Technic Exo, which I know is a top coat. It's supposed to go on the crystal serum or the crystal lacquer. But, I heard it can also just be used as a standalone product. And I think I started with the version 2, and I went all the way up to version 3. I didn't try version 4 yet. That just came out. But I had been applying that on quite a few vehicles. So I really like that product. Very easy to use. And the results were pretty awesome. So I have it on my own vehicle, my black Avalon. I have it on the hood and on the roof. And it still performs great. I haven't done I just wash it and just dry it, and that's it. I haven't tried to refresh it with maybe an IPA wipe down and kind of see how the coating is actually doing. So I'll probably do that soon just to kind of see. It's winter here, so I don't really have a lot of time to go out and wash my own vehicle and test it out. So I'll probably do that in a couple of months and see how the coating is doing. But everything still beads up, which is great. Not as tight as original, but of course stuff still gets stuck to it. It's not bulletproof. Stuff is going to get stuck to any coating. And you have to kind of do a refresher wash to get all that stuff off to get to the underlying coating. But I love G-Technic Exo. It was awesome product to work with. I hadn't tried any of their other coatings, just that one. But just recently I switched over to Geon, and I've been using their Geon Synchro. So Mose and 2 layers of Mose and the 1 layer of skin. And that I really like. I don't like the multi-layer system. That's annoying to me just because you have to wait so long. I mean, 6 hours of coating. An hour between Mose, a few hours up to 4, they said, for applying skin on top of the 2 layers of Mose. So it's really time consuming. But the results are pretty awesome. Very easy to apply. It applies just like Exo. It's just wipe on, maybe 5 seconds, wipe off, 2 towels, and it's great. I really love using that new product, the Geon Synchro Kit. And just Geon Mose is good. Even if you just use the 2 layers of Mose without putting skin on it, many guys have been seeing up to 2 years with that, with just proper maintenance. Of course, it's all about maintenance as well. So just going to look at a couple of the comments here, see who's joined. How's it going, Randy? So let's see here. What's up? Oh, okay. The New Wave Auto Detailing Facebook group. All right, I'll check that out. Yeah, if you want to start with the ceramic coatings, Randy, definitely just check out Exo. I guess the new version V4. If it's anything like the one right before it, V3, super easy to apply, really nice product to work with. And again, some guys, I know there's a G-Technic accredited detailer here that I would get the product from, and he has a lot of experience with it. And he would say basically you can put 2 coats. I guess the company suggests to put 2 coats. I don't know how much I buy into the 2 coat thing. Some say just for make sure that you have perfect coverage. If you're doing it meticulously,